Welcome, welcome, ladies. This is I Am Leading Book Club. This is Coach Lois. I am your host this evening, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, book club members. I can see you, Abhishek, Elizabeth. We have Sharon, Virginia, and Wanjiku. And we have ladies of excellence here. Penna, good to see you. Good to see you, Florence. Good to see you, Mary. We can't wait any longer. We have been here since 6:30, so we'll continue. I guess today there is a problem somewhere, maybe with the transport. I don't know. We are a bit late, so I will just allow me to continue. My video has an issue, but I think it's now working properly. You can see me. Yes, so say hello. Where are you joining us from? Where are you joining us from this evening, this morning, this afternoon? Depends with where you are in the world. Kindly share in the chat. Where are you joining us from? Say hello. I'd like to see where you are joining us. Welcome, Brenda. Karibuni sana. Yes, where is the chat? Where are you joining us from? Would be glad to recognize you if possible. If not, sema hello za hewani. Yes, Langata Road, Kiamumbi. Great, 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 great. Yes, that's nice. It's good to know where you're joining us from. We feel more connected. Yes, from Rongai, Mary. That's great. Thank you. From Ruiru, I can see you. Yes, yes, yes. Amazing. From Githiga, Otensha. Nice, nice, nice. That's great. Beautiful, beautiful. Nice. Who else wants to tell us where they are joining us from? Kilimani, Pena, amazing. Langata, Wanjiku, this is great. Thank you so much. I can see I have so many neighbors around me. Elizabeth from Syokimau, yes, ushafika nyumbani. Rongo, Dr. Rose Achieng from Rongo, Migori, the newest mother in town. Thanks, book club member Rose. Amazing, amazing. This is good. Always a pleasure just to interact and to know where we are joining from this country. Some of us from out of the country. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Today is a beautiful day, and I'm wondering what's wrong with I don't seem to see my buttons well. I want to share and I can't see the share button now. What? Okay. Maybe I'll see it later. I don't know where it is. I've seen it. Okay. Great. So today is a beautiful day. And we have a beautiful book that we are reviewing. We have been reading from the book club. Okay. Hope it doesn't disappear. Okay. Yes. So today's topic is break the cycle of self-sabotage. Break the cycle of self-sabotage. And today we are looking at the roadmap to identify self-defeating habits, and the expectation is to step into our genius. And my speakers today are going to tell us what that means. So allow me just to introduce briefly and then allow the speakers, because we are already late, we'll move with speed so that at least within 1 hour we'll be done. Yes, so break the cycle of self-sabotage. And this is an interesting topic because most of the women leaders, as women leaders, we are usually very ambitious. We have our goals. We are driven. We are driven. But somehow, along the way, with all these ambitions that we have, we self sabotage. We shoot ourselves down. And that's what we are going to be discussing today, how to break that cycle of self sabotage, because these are self-defeating habits and nobody wants to have them, because that's not our agenda for 2026. We want to prosper. When we began this year, we said this is the year of prosperity, this is the year of expansion, this is the year of growth, personal growth and development. And when I was looking at this word, to prosper, prosperity, and I was looking at the different ways that we can prosper. This is just among the ones we have focused in the book club. We focused, like last quarter, we were all about money and building our wealth, if you can remember those in the book club. And we looked at how we can prosper in our wealth and in our money. We also, in the book club, we also check on our prosperity in our health. And you know that the habits that we practice in the book club as part of self-leadership is we prioritize our wellness and our health, because we realize we cannot be leaders without having good health. How will you lead when you are sick in your bed, on your bed? So it's not possible for you to lead. So that's why health is a priority. Our wealth, our happiness, our joy, that is our priority. Our money, as leaders, we can't be leading and yet we are lagging behind in terms of money, because cash is queen. Cash is queen. It's very important that we have a holistic leader. So that forms part of prosperity. This 2026 is our year of expansion. And I was looking at this photo here. When we expand, it means that we are going in all directions. It's 360 degrees. And in a different way, you are also increase your territorial space. That you're not just, no longer just going to be in one space, but you're going to take up space in different ways. And I have the globe there, the world globe, showing how we take up space in different places. That is part of increasing and expanding our territories. This 2026 is our year of growth. And you can see from that photo, when you are growing, you can't be at the same position that you were in last year, or even last month, or even last week. This is not possible, because growth, even as you see from a young baby, they grow right from the womb. They grow, they become a child. 0 years, they go 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. You are constantly growing. So that is our focus this year: to prosper, to expand, to grow. So with that in mind, and with what I was saying, there is an invisible lead that, as we desire for more in our lives, as we desire to prosper, as we desire to grow, and we have put effort and action to it, but something just reaches the upper limit, and you find yourself, you are not going through, you are not sailing through. There's no flow. Now, that's what we want to discover today. What is it that limits us? That puts on a cycle of self-sabotage, that we keep on shooting ourselves on the foot, yet we want to go forward. So that is the roadmap that we are deliberating this evening, this morning, this afternoon, depending on where you are. So prosperity, expansion, growth. You can see it is holistic. It is 360 degrees. That's our focus. But something limits us from it. And that's what we want to discuss. And when I looked at this word prosper, I found it in the Bible. I was so amazed. And in the third, St. John the third, chapter 1, verse 2, John says, "Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things." Amazing. that we are meant to prosper in all things and be in health. So I was so happy to see that, because we are in alignment, especially we members of the book club, because that's what we practice. We are prospering in all things and also in health, and we don't leave the soul also, and the soul also prospers. And that's what we practice in the book club, because as a woman, as a she leader, you are meant to prosper. And when I looked at that word, I think I put it out there to check what it was. And in totality, it was all about being successful, to flourish, to thrive. And when I look that with a plant, when a plant is flourishing and thriving, it produces fruits. There's a result of that prosperity. It is not in vain. And that's what our focus is on. So, what then limits us? That's the question this evening. Because most women leaders, just like you already know, we're talking about money, how to generate income. There's nobody here who doesn't know, or who doesn't have information about how to generate income, more money. We have read, we have listened, we have been told, we all know. We know that it is good to be healthy. Nobody doesn't know that. We all know we need to be healthy, to eat healthy, to work out, to hydrate, to practice deep breathing. We all know that. But what stops us? And the question is now, put it back to yourself. What stops me? What stops me from generating more income, from having multiple streams of income, from paying my debts? I know I need to pay my debts, but why am I not paying my debts? How do I justify that? That is the question now. And that's what I want us to focus on. We know how to live healthy. We have even read in the book club about living healthy, wellness, mental health, physical health. But what makes us not practice it? We all know how to increase in our spirituality. We go to church every Sunday. We have our own spiritual practices. But how come there's a limit to it? We know how to build relationships, don't we? We have read enough books about this. But something is missing. And that something is not information, because we already have the information. That thing is not capability. No, 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 no. We are women of excellence. We have skills. We have the know-how. We have the technical know-how. We know it. We can do it. So the capability is not what is missing. So what is it that then limits us from exploiting our full potential? And that is the question this evening. And my two speakers this evening will share to us their takeaways from the book we are reading in season 22. And we are going to discover what is it. So I've talked about prosperity, and I'm here to tell you that prosperity is not a strategy problem. As you can see, we already have the tactics. It is an identity capacity problem. And that's why this evening we are building our capacity, so that we start seeing ourselves in a different way. For example, we've talked about money. Making money is not usually about knowing more tactics, no. But it's about becoming the kind of a woman who feels safe and worthy holding more. Let me explain. In all of us, we have a success thermostat. There is a limit that we have set for the amount of money you are going to earn, for example, in 2026. And that limit is invisible. You can never tell. But you will start noticing that there is a problem somewhere when maybe you are, today you get a promotion. you have been earning 100,000. Then you get a promotion. You are now 2 times. You are now at 300,000. But what happens? At the end of it, you are like, my goodness, where did this money go? When you were at 100,000, you thought all your life now everything will align when I get 300,000 shillings. But there's something that is happening in the background because you are not comfortable with the 300,000 mark. Your thermostat is set at 100. And any increase over 100,000 brings in discomfort. And my speakers are going to bring that out in different ways, not necessarily money. I've just given an example of money. That discomfort brings in what now we are calling self-sabotage. This is so powerful that when we start understanding this, we start understanding ourselves. We become more self-aware about our lives because this applies to your joy. This applies to your weight. Now that we're in the book club and we are working out, when I have observed over the years, the book club now is over 5 years, and I've observed over and over again, women who come in, they are so excited at first. As we said, we are all ambitious. They are expectant of the next move. What is going to happen in the book club? Then what happens? They have an invisible thermostat that is set at a comfort zone of not waking up early, of not exercising, of not hydrating. Then when they come into the book club, yes, they are excited. They're excited. Then discomfort comes in. Because that's not where they are set. Their thermostat, there's a problem here. Because if the thermostat is at 50 and you're operating at 60, when you reach 60, itapata moto. It will bring you back to where it is comfortable at 50. And that's what I have observed. Very many women who are ambitious, they want to do it, but there is something that is working against them, against all their efforts, against all that they want to execute. So that's what we are calling the upper limit. And my speakers are going to tell us from verbatim what they have read from the book. So income plus that discomfort brings what? Self-sabotage. Now look at this. The cycle of self-sabotage. Apply this to anything that you want to apply it to. So let's talk about income once again. So yes, you come. I have a club called Rich and Royal Abundant Ladies Club. And every year we set up a target for achieving money that you want to achieve this year. So you come with that and you say, this year is 1 million. Hey, and you feel so good as you are setting that target and you say, God help me to get 1 million. But immediately you have set the target and you are sold out and you are ready for it. What starts? Some triggers start. You start getting stress. January, February. Woo! I have not received any income anywhere. How am I going to save this money? You see, your ambition is real. It's true you want this money. But because you have set a target you have never imagined before, already the upper limit trigger comes. Stress, anxiety, guilt. Now I'm saving 1 million. Other people are dying of hunger. You know, just stories, what we call stories, they come up. But unless you are self-aware to realize that that is a trigger of the upper limit, you will sabotage yourself. And how do you do that? To bring you back to this thermostat where we said your thermostat is set at 100,000. So what happens? Instead of investing that money, what are you going to start doing? You start overspending. You start buying things. You change your lifestyle. You notice now, instead of having more books than shoes, you have more shoes than the books. Instead of taking action to do what you are meant to do, you start procrastinating because you are so distracted by what is happening around you. You forget that you are the creator of your circumstances, of your reality. You procrastinate. Instead of associating yourself with the right kind of women who are in the same frequency like you, in one accord, you start avoiding that. Then what happens when you self-sabotage? You end up into your comfort zone. So you spend all the money, the 300,000 you had been promoted to, you spend it, you get into debt, and again, back again. You just remain with the 100,000 that you know how to manage. Haven't we seen that with these people who win? They get 10 million 1 year down the line, 2 years down the line. Their capacity to hold 10 million is not available. It's not available. They can't hold that massive money. They cannot hold it. What they do, they self-sabotage themselves. There are triggers. They start worrying. They start stressing. There's anxiety. There are so many other things that come. Self-sabotage. The next minute, instead of enjoying the increased income of 300,000, you get sick. You are maybe meant to go and speak somewhere and get paid for it. The upper limit comes in. The triggers come in. You cannot even afford to go for that. And then you come and say, oh, I was sick. But was it sickness? It wasn't sickness. It was just the upper limit. It was self-sabotage that brought you there, brought you back to the comfort zone of where you are used to. So that's what we are talking about this evening. So the question that then you should be asking is it that I'm going to add more income? Or how am I going to get more income? No. What for today, what you are going to ask of yourself is, what part of me feels unsafe at the next level of income? And unless you address that, it will just be a vicious cycle of you gaining money, collapsing back to where your comfort is. The only thing standing between you and that goal is the story you keep telling yourself as to why you can't achieve it. I am sick. The weather, the transport, fill the dash. You know it all. That is what is keeping you. And that's what we are addressing today. So I don't want to go through this because I know my speakers are going to do that. I'll maybe come back to it after they have spoken so that I don't I reboot their presentations. So our first speaker is Sharon Batocha. Sharon is a digital forensic expert. She is the newest member in the book club. She's a young soul. She is passionate, a passionate professional, and she says that her most treasured roles is being a mom, being an auntie, being a friend. She says she values growth, and I like it. I like this, Sharon, because when we connected, you didn't know about the book club, but because the core value driving you is growth, you are able to say, yes, I'm in, even without understanding what the book club is about. You value deep connections. Thank you so much. And for showing up, and she loves showing up with love and intention in every space that she's in. Amazing, Sharon. Sharon, being new, she still shows up in the book club. That is so amazing because most ladies would shrink and watch on the sidelines just to see what is happening. But Sharon, I love her words that she shows up with love and intention. She says, I'm drawn to meaningful conversations that inspire reflection, resilience, and personal growth. Exploring new ideas is a beautiful way for me to connect, learn, and evolve. Welcome on board, Sharon. This is your time. Karibu, karibu, karibu. I hope you are still in the house. Sharon?
Um, Good evening, ladies. Thank you, Coach. I hope you can see me, though the room is dim. I had to abort going home because of the time. So I don't know if I'm visible.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so thank you so much. I am so glad and delighted to be here, being my first time and my first presentation in such a space. I am glad, Coach, that you've been holding our hands despite the hard, quote unquote, journey that we started. But we are grateful that you're always here. So I have a presentation to make, a PowerPoint slide, which I'll share in a few. So you'll allow me to stop the video. Um, so in my day-to-day life, since years back, I've been a back office girl. Like I would allow everyone to shine by ensuring that they actually shine. I would do the donkey work, do reports, do even up to the slides, and make sure you're on time to go and present. As I was thinking about this, I was in the middle of the book, and I actually realized that is the problem that we are trying to face here. When I was contacted to present, I got shocked. I think I dropped a sweat because I could not imagine Coach Lois approaching me. I'm so new and I don't even know what I would actually go and talk about. Sorry. So again, I was reminded that, hey, you need to do this because you need to move from your comfort zone. And all this is actually the upper limit problem. About the book club, I'm a late night person. Actually, I can even sleep at 4 a.m. My 5 a.m. was not my thing until when Coach Lois starts at 4:50 a.m. to start saying it's a new morning. So I had to cope with all this. Of course, I'm not yet there. I have a few self-sabotages that I'll talk about. I cheat so much on eating healthy and of course exercises. If you follow my updates, you notice that I do it. I walk a lot. So I've not really made an expansion on that, which I'm still working on. So you'll allow me to share. I don't know if you can see. Can you see my screen?
Yes, now make it big.
Mm. There you go. That's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so I've done a 10 PowerPoint presentation. Of course, I always feel like when I do a PowerPoint presentation, I'm so consistent and because I'm managing my anxiety at the background. So we are talking about a reflection on growth, upper limits, and the zone of genius, yeah, by Gay Hendricks. all this is about the upper limit problem, and the goal is to live and work in your zone of genius. So why did I join this book club and how? So year in, year out, I would confidently say this is the year I'll read more books, always on my vision board, on my resolutions. But somehow it didn't happen. Life would get busy, work, family, responsibilities, and reading would quietly move into the next year. So at some point, I had to be honest with myself. And this was 28th of December. That was my birthday when I was thinking about my resolutions. And one of them was the book reading. I buy books, but I don't even do up to number 20. Yeah. So I get a good book, I buy, I take it home, someone borrows, it goes like that. So I intentionally, without structures, of course, intentions without structures produces nothing. So I went on to searching. I started with Facebook. It was just searching. I didn't have any clue. So I didn't have any clue on where to search. So I literally went onto social media for a space that would hold me accountable. So a community that would make reading not just a wish, but a practice. And there I was. I got this book club. What started as a simple search for accountability turned into alignment, because before even I start my day, I need to align. This space has become more than reading. It has become my growth, my reflection, and an expansion. And I thank you so much. So, the reason why we sabotage our own happiness. This is, I call it ULP. Coach calls it UL. So this is the upper limit problem. So have you ever gone home and everything looks so good? The house manager has done her job. The kids are behaving. The work is flowing. There is peace in the house. There is even tea. But then somehow you start issues. You feel so uneasy instead of enjoying. You pick up a fight with the person who actually is watching his TV, hana mambo. But you wonder, why is it all like this? So all this is an internal limit now kicking in. When life feels too good, then subconscious steps in to bring you down. So I ask, might this be the upper limit problem? So the book was so good. I feel, of course, the first one we were still trying to learn, but the second book, I think I'm on course. So some of my takeaways is I've had to recognize the upper limit problem. That's first things first. And then understand the 4 zones of work and the potential in it. And then I've realized that joy is actually the real trigger. Yeah. When life feels so good, it shows that when life feels so good, this upper limit thing, not when it feels bad in itself. So when you're so happy and everything is settled, you just try and find issues with people around you. And actually, that is our upper limit problem. And then finally, I learned how to expand my capacity to actually allow more. Now, so the upper limit problem. The core idea, I'm glad that Coach has really assisted me expound on this. So I'll just go through it. So as she said, we have a thermostat, and that is a happiness thermostat. And each one of us has. It's an internal setting that dictates joy, success, or abundance. So as I said, when life exceeds what we subconsciously believe we deserve, we start sabotaging it in all angles of life. So this is how it looks like. So you start unnecessary arguments, like the example I gave you. When you reach home, you start arguments. You start procrastinating over issues. You overthink the good news. Somebody talks to you about love, about good relationships, but then you wonder, so is there anything else that he or she has not told me? You overthink the good news. You suddenly feel anxiety, which coach has really explained. And then all of a sudden you start creating dramas when things are calm. So what is our key line? So actually the problem is not success. The problem is our comfort with success. It is not success that is the problem. Yeah. Now, why do we do this? So there are hidden beliefs that stops us. You just say, I'm fundamentally flawed. I'm not enough. Just what I wanted to say when the coach called me, chatted me and told me, you will be the speaker. I started wondering, am I really even enough to talk? If I outgrow people, I will lose them. So we string and stay connected. The way I'm always a back office girl, I let you shine. I let you get commendations. But at the end of the day, it doesn't help me. So, and I feel if I outgrow you, then I lose you. And that is not really the thing. More success is equals to more burden. We fear more responsibility. So, you've heard somebody says, I will do what is in my performance contract. Like, I will do 8 to 1, 2 to 5, and I'll go home. That is what I'm hired to do. But if you create more burden, both in and out, you will never fear responsibility, and then you will grow in your capacity. Some say if I shine too brightly, others will feel bad. I think I was in one of these categories where I fear you to feel bad. So instead, I help you succeed. So sometimes we dim our light so much, even we can't find ourselves. Yeah. Nyumba ni giza, hata we mwenyewe kupatikana ni ngumu. So our reflection is this. Have you ever achieved something amazing and then created drama right after? Or received love and immediately looked at for what's wrong? You've been given a flower. You've been assured of love. And then all of a sudden you're like, is there anything else he was supposed to tell me? You sabotage almost immediately. Now, these are the four zones. There is the zone of incompetence. We've talked about it, that you're not good at it. And that is where most of us sometimes we are at. You prefer not to show your competence. So instead, you assume that you're actually incompetent so that they can leave you alone. There is now the zone of competence, like you're okay with that. I will work with that. Don't add me anything. And then there is the zone of excellence. You're very good at it. People praise you. Now, we are all here because now we feel that whatever we do on a day-to-day basis is excellent. We don't give ourselves more, like you want to do more. You want to expand. There is the zone of genius, which is now your natural gifts, what lights you up and what feels alive. The zone of excellence, if I go back, is you save space. Yeah, you get praised and you're competent in it. But the zone of genius is whereby now you move out of your zone and you start building your capacity, as the coach says. So what is our takeaway? Excellence is rewarded and genius is so vulnerable. Yeah. Somebody would say excellence pays the bill, but genius scares your relatives. I don't know if it's true. The third one is the joy that is the real trigger. So there's the upper limit always shows whenever there is joy. Yeah, you feel deep in joy, you receive love, you experience ease, you succeed financially. Things feel so peaceful. But then instead of allowing all this to happen and thrive, you start worrying. The book talks about the 7 things that you should do. I would not delve in that. But have you ever gone back home and you feel that, no, while you're in traffic, you start wondering if you left the iron box on. And it really disturbs you. Sometimes you turn and go back. Sometimes you alight in a matatu. You worry over nothing, yeah? Yet when you reach home, you actually had done the right thing. You pick a fight over nothing. Everything seems calm, but instead of solving the little thing that has happened, you start picking a fight. You find a problem where there is none. Even when love is thriving in home, at work, in your social life, you just try and find a problem. And then the anxiety. So joy is our most frightening emotion. And for us mothers, when everything is going so well, we wait for something to actually go wrong. Yeah. So how do we expand our capacity? You need to notice it first of all. You need to take charge, take responsibility. Yeah. You need to breathe and allow the goodness. Let that joy thrive in all the spaces that you're in. Don't allow bad things. Don't allow worry. Don't allow anxiety. Of course, it's a journey, but I believe as we carry on, we will be able to, together as a family, expand our capacity. So one of the practical tools that I found is when something good happens, instead of shrinking like me, the back office girl, just say I expand in success, love, and peace. Let your nervous system adjust. Stop thriving in the upper limit. Now, how has this impacted me? Of course, it has. I've been doubting my successes so much. I think even this is my letdown. So many times I feel so unworthy of success or happiness, holding myself back or taking on bigger challenges. I see a challenge, I say, mimi yo maneno staki. I don't want to fail. So I prefer being in my space rather than being worthy of the success and happiness. Creating drama or obstacles. Notice urges to complicate situations unnecessarily, pulling back from opportunities or avoiding things that truly excites you. You just have issues with everything. So settling for good enough, instead of fully stepping into your zone of genius, you linger in the zone of excellence or competence because it feels safe. So safe here is the word. You just want tomorrow you wake up, you're safe, you know what you're doing. In the evening, you go sleep, you're knowing that you're competent, you're excellent. We need to step. We need to settle for that, the zone of genius. So what are my personal reflections? Now that I notice peace and I feel the urge to create drama, I need to pause, I need to breathe, I need to ask myself, can I allow just good for once? Can I allow this to be good? Because maybe the real growth isn't achieving more. It's learning to tolerate happiness. So as mothers, as women, as leaders in here, let's tell others to dream big. But the real question is, can we handle it ourselves? Can we handle that big joy? So your next level isn't about doing more. It's about allowing more. It's about expanding. It's about letting that ULP out. So I leave you with a verse of Isaiah 54 verse 2 on expanding capacity, and it reads, enlarge the place of your tent, stretch your tent curtains wide, do not hold back, lengthen your cords, strengthen your stake. This is a call to prepare for growth, increase vision, and trust God to expand one's influence and resources. Thank you very much for listening.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Sharon. That was powerful. You can see now if you had said no, if your upper limit had gotten the right over you, we would not have listened to you. But thank you for trusting the process and for allowing yourself, like literally, you said, yes, I am in, I will present. Even if it's my first time, I will do it. And that's how to step into your genius. That's how you push through the boundaries. You expand your territories. You don't remain in the same space. Even when the upper limit tries to trigger so many things, you say, I am in, all in. Thank you so much, Sharon. Let's celebrate Sharon for such an amazing first time. She's the newest book club member and she said yes. Yet we have had so many ladies in the book club. Every time you ask them, no, they shrink. No, they shrink. But here is Sharon. Thank you very, very much. Wow, amazing, amazing. Now we move to the next presenter. Just a minute. Now we move to the next presenter. Okay. Yes. Our next presenter is none other than our veteran. Abhishek has been with us for a number of seasons. And Abhishek Muriuki is a focused, bold, and courageous woman who believes in living life with intention and purpose. Oh, I love this. Both of you are using the same words, growth, intention. Wow. Growth is not just a goal for me, she says. It is a daily commitment. Wow. Reflected in how I think, how I learn, and how I act. I thrive on self-development. I agree. Since you joined the book club, you have been here. Wow. And continuously seek opportunities to evolve into a better version of myself. Financial freedom sits at the heart of my ambitions. Wow. Guiding my decisions and long-term vision. Abhishek says, I value discipline. And that is so true. You cannot persist. You cannot be consistent in the book club without discipline. Agreed. I value discipline, clarity, and meaningful conversations that challenge perspectives and inspire progress. No wonder you are here, Abhishek. Above all, I am passionate about building a life defined by excellence, impact, and unwavering determination. Welcome on board, Abhishek. We can't wait to hear from you. Karibu sana.
Wow, asante sana. Asante sana, coach. I'm trying to put on my video for
Yes.
us just to get to see my face, and then I'll ask that I put it off so that I get to share my presentation. But it's so amazing. I'm so happy. Thank you for having me today. Um, I'm actually very excited, and I almost told coach you could be talking about me when you say at times I ask the ladies in here to share and they shy away, because I know I have declined sometimes. But this time when you reached out, I was like, yeah, I am willing. I am willing to share this time. And it's because this book was not just a book. I will say it was one of the moments that challenged me big time. And that is how I am opening my talk tonight, to see how I can put off this video. Thank you. So it is one of my opening lines in my presentation tonight. And coach, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see. Just expand it now. Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes.
Super. So my first opening line says, this month wasn't just about reading a book. And for sure, this book was not just any other book that I have read in this book club. And I'll say it was about confronting my upper limits in quite a number of things, but the ones that I would want to highlight is my relationships, my daily workouts, and my task management at work. And maybe to highlight this, because I may not revisit how my upper limits were being confronted. In terms of my relationship, I think I was not able to carry through those good feelings, like my co-presenter Sharon was trying to say, that something nice goes through on in a conversation that you have had with a friend or a relationship that you have had, and you're not able to carry through the goodness. You're trying to bring down, because either I'm entertaining a thought of what else could go wrong in this kind of a setup. But February has been a month that I was very intentional in how I was relating with all my friends, cutting across. And I have seen a massive change in terms of how I have engaged my friends and how I have engaged my time with them. And I can say that I confronted that upper limit where I was just very comfortable. I was in a safe space of, hi, how are you doing? But over and above that, I was not trying to push any kind of interaction to a better space. But this book helped me to illuminate that space very well in terms of my relationship. And I can see very great improvements in how I am showing up in that space. Number 2, on my daily workouts, I have had the discipline, yes. I wake up in the morning, I will do my daily workouts, and then I will tick that box and I say 15 minutes workout. But when I started this book, I went back to think through in terms of what are my objectives in these daily workouts? And am I operating in my zone of excellence or my zone of genius in terms of the repetitions that I was doing for the workouts? And I realized that I was doing, most of my workouts were limiting up to 30 because it feels nice. It's ticking that box. I have done 30 of every exercise that I was to do today. Then I thought to myself, what if I hit 100 on each? In February, I hit 100 on each of them. And every day when I hit 100, I look at myself and I almost, laugh at myself. I'm like, and here I was operating on the zone of excellence and not of genius. The other time I was doing a 30-30. But I'm so happy. It makes me even feel that I have achieved something early in the morning. Task management, again, I was okay. I was doing my job. My job is well done. I have finished my tasks. But every day I would find myself trying to look through my emails. What have I not attended to? Then come February, I thought to myself, how can I operate better in my task at work? And then I devised a way of ensuring that every single hour, I check through what has come in so that by the time it is towards 3 or 4 p.m., I'm not going back to 9 a.m. to check what I didn't attend to at 9 a.m. But I am so certain that I have been checking through and I have been responding. And if there's anything for me to do later, I have annotated that. That has worked so well for me in terms of February, and it has helped me to manage even my time at the time that I am leaving work. And I know even Coach, you mentioned that I have managed to come home early. It's part of that, my task management bit at work. And so it was just choosing expansion over comfort. And I realized I was operating on so many spaces of comfort. It's okay. I feel it's the level that I have achieved. It's okay. I was not pushing myself beyond that level. And so I asked so many questions, or I asked myself so many questions in terms of embracing every opportunity for growth for February. Now, I know the book handled this bit of the upper limit problem. Coach handled it and my co-presenter as well. And the book was asking, or it was saying, when life feels too good, we sabotage it. we pick fights, we overthink, we doubt ourselves. And I know mine fell heavily on the bit of doubting. And I kept on finding myself asking questions when I reflected out, find myself asking questions like, will I make it? Will I be able to do it? Am I good enough? But then I realized if I change those perspectives and say, I can make it, I am good enough, I am able to achieve it, then I end up excelling and operating in my zone of genius. And instead of picking a fight, I decided I will always choose to pause. So when something went very well for February, I was very keen to ensure that I take a pause. And then I say, this is where I want this happiness to go to. When I was asked to do something, in February, I got a call and someone asked, are you able to facilitate in doing this and this? Instead of saying, no, I cannot, I raised my hand and I said, yes, I am able to do that. And so I found myself being more positive in terms of responding to the opportunities that were presented towards me in February. And also I let myself feel successful without guilt, especially in the areas that I was doing well and people around me were not doing well. And if I can just give an example about the last bit, was also February. I think it was more or less like a testing month. In February, I remember encountering a request, and I know some of us could have encountered those requests where someone says, could you lend me X amount of money? And it's so vivid in my mind because I remember I had just read the section in the book that says saying an enlightened no. Looking at the request that was being put forth to me, I looked at it and weighed what it meant in terms of my targets and my plans, having in mind that I am in rich and royal. And I told myself, this is not going to respond to anything that is aligning to my goals for this year. So I had to give a very enlightened no to that request. And I thought to myself, fine, I may have said no, and probably that person will not be able to do what they wanted to do. But I want to allow myself to feel successful without the guilt, especially in that area, because it is my choice to say an enlightened no. That was quite amazing in terms of how I handled that request after reading this book. And so this is also an area that I found myself doing a lot of write-ups or reflections, because in the book it says many high-achieving women live in excellence, and we live in those spaces where we feel we are dependable. People can depend on us. We have the abilities. We are needed. Like Abhishek knows she is needed in this and this space. But that is just a zone of excellence. That is what the book tries to highlight. And genius feels lighter because it is where you find alignment and you're energized to your truth. And my best take homes for this bit of operating in my genius was to stop volunteering for what drains me and choosing not to be all over. I can tell you, dear ladies, the number of no's that I have said in February, I think they are more than the no's I said the whole of last year. Because nowadays I'm so clear in terms of weighing where do I want to spend my time? Do I want to go there or don't I want to? Do I want to volunteer in this action or don't I want to volunteer in this action? And I liked the way Gay Hendricks and brought about that bit of saying an enlightened no. When he was asked to go do some speaking, and he declined. I was like, oh, that is so amazing that he is so clear. He has so much clarity on what he wants to say yes to and what he wants to say no to. And that also made me decide I need to protect what lights me up, because it is my space of genius, and not just operating in the space where I am just needed. No, it is what lights me up. What am I waking up to do? What is it that I am speaking to? On to the bit of the hidden barriers. The book highlighted that some of us fear outgrowing people we love, and some fear being too much, or some fear shining too bright. This bit of shining too bright reminds me of some interaction we have. I am in some group that we sing, and whenever it is your turn to sing, you will hear people say it's your time to shine. And I resonated so much with that phrase, because at times we fear shining, and it's like a barrier from growth. But having interacted in that group where we give each other an opportunity to shine, and not only an opportunity, but we even voice out, we tell each other, it is your time to shine. I embraced that space more, because I realized this is where I excel in my genius. This is an activity that I enjoy doing. So I'm not being too much when I stand up and I do it. I'm just showing up and doing it for myself. And so my take home was, when I grow, it's not a betrayal. We try to challenge each other in terms of what chords, how we balance our voices, and how we balance the keys, and so many things that pertains singing. I know some of us here could be singers, they know it. And the comments that we get from our coach, you will tell whether you have improved from January or to December. I know last year I got quite a number of compliments, and I kept on telling myself when I was reading this book, my growth is not betrayal. It is something that I ought to keep me going and keep me going. And my success does not diminish anyone. I know as ladies, at times we don't want to outshine, for those who are married, our better halves or something like that, because you will hear all sorts of stories around people saying the way a man will not be able to stay with a lady who's earning more than them, and so many other fallacies. But if you look at it that my success does not diminish anyone, then you're able to jump into that zone of genius. And that is what I told myself. I will not look at it as if my success is going to diminish anyone, because it is my success. And they also have an opportunity to grow and shine. And then expansion is permission for others to rise too. So that's what I just said, that they also have an opportunity. That we are not here trying to outdo one another. We are here to grow together, because all of us, we have those opportunities to grow, and we have those opportunities to shine. My light shining does not dim anyone's light. Okay. So the next one, the time mindset, I think I mentioned this when I was opening. This spoke to me big time, because I was able to apply it at my place of work, yes, and in a few ways in how I do my other free time. But the book said the phrase that I don't have time often means I am committed to things that are not my genius. And so my bit was to try and check, what are these things that are eating up into my time? And for me to be able to, just to take us back, to be able to identify how to check on my task, I realized I was not keen on doing hour-to-hour check of how my tasks are unfolding. I was just running with something, then 2 hours down the line, I'm like, oh, I haven't done this other one that was requested an hour ago. But being keen on checking how my hour is being spent has helped me to be in charge of my time. And so that's what I am saying, that my take home was, I replaced it with at work. And even nowadays, when I am not working, I find myself writing. Immediately I finish my morning routine, I pick a paper and I do an hour to hour plan of what I'm going to do with whichever day that I am coming. On Saturday, what I am doing hour to hour. And in the evening, I challenge myself to tick on every single bit that I had planned to do. And so with that, it helps me to say, I am choosing not to prioritize this, and I'm choosing to prioritize this other one. This has also helped me. It has shifted to a very powerful day every single day. You know, the way at work, you will keep on listening to people say, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so overwhelmed. I was so yearning to stop saying those phrases. And I wanted to come home every day and say, my day was very powerful. And if you remember, I mentioned about my relationship. I also have friends who check on me every day, who say, how was your day? So nowadays, I try not to paint how my day was, but to say how my day was. So once my day is well spent and my day becomes very powerful, I am so happy in the evening to say my day was very powerful. It's not just to say my day was overwhelming. So the time mindset has also been very helpful to me. The success mantra was also another thing that I picked. I know I recited the one that we had been given by Gay Hendricks in the book before I coined up my own. And his was, I expand in abundance, success, and love every day as I inspire those around me to do the same. But eventually I coined up mine that says words have power. Because for February, I decided to focus on the words, and especially what I tell myself and what I tell other people. And I noticed when I'm intentional in building my friends with the right words about what they are doing, about what they're focusing on, about how their life is going, they also respond with very powerful words about themselves. And this week, not last week, I remember the previous week, I intentionally did a trial with a friend of mine. I never told them what I was doing, but every single morning I would wake up and tell them, I am wishing you a very peaceful day, a very prosperous day, this and this and this. And then in the evening, we would do a check on how the day was. The words that we said to each other that day ended up manifesting that same day. I got calls. They would say very nice words towards me. I would get calls of people telling me about things that I need to do, about something they're looking up for, or something that they thought that I could help in. It was so amazing. And it overflew even into last week and this week also. And I am telling myself every single day when I wake up, words have power. And that is what I have chosen to be my success mantra. And so I have repeated it daily, not because it sounds nice, but because my nervous system must learn the safety in its success, in this success mantra every single day. And so as I end, this is where I want just to share with us a few reflections. And what I picked from this book is that transformation is not dramatic. It is daily choices that I am making every single day is what those choices that I'm making every single day is what is going to cause my transformation. And so I am continuously asking myself, what am I ready to stop tolerating? And for me to be able to identify excellence versus genius operation, I'm telling myself, I'm going to catch myself when I'm not operating in my genius. So every single day, when I do something, or when I have those self-doubts, or when I am trying to say I'm overwhelmed, I'm so quick to say, Abby, catch yourself operating in your excellence and not in genius. So it is like I'm putting myself in check every single day, every single day. And I'm so clear, or I have clarity in what I am ready to step into. And finally, I am appreciative that my genius is not selfish. It is my responsibility because I need to grow and expand in my growth. Thank you very much for your time.
Wow, wow, wow. Amazing. Let us celebrate Abhishek for that amazing presentation. I loved it all the way. Wow, amazing. Congratulations. You have explained it just so clear the way you have explained everything and you brought the book alive again. Amazing. That is so powerful. Congratulations. Wow. Thank you, Abhishek, for that. Now, allow me now to present kidogo as we come to the end of this meeting. I hope we are learning something. Words have power. Words have power. Just from where we had left it. Yes. So thank you so much, our speakers today, Sharon and Abhishek. That was super amazing. You have brought it all together. You have put the dots together because today we were breaking the cycle of self-sabotage. And the speakers have done this very well. You already have a roadmap to identify self-defeating habits and so that you can step into your genius. Just reminding us that this year is about prosperity, expansion, and growth. And I think it's Sharon who brought in the peg advantage. That is the peg, extending the peg of your tents. So thank you so much, Sharon, for that. Remember, you are meant to prosper, to be successful, to flourish and thrive. So now you start catching yourself every time you find yourself in the zone of excellence and incompetence and all that. So let me continue from where I was. So I just want to bring other ways, and already we had seen them, the ways that we sabotage ourselves, looking at these four patterns. One is procrastination. I think I talked about that. Another one is perfectionism. I don't know whether you have ever found yourself not moving, just waiting for the right moment, for everything to align, to be so perfect for you to take action. That is self sabotage. Catch yourself every time you are there. And the speakers have talked about that, that fear of just, am I good enough? You know, every time you are checking whether you are good enough, and you worry, all that is an upper limit. Fear of failure and success. I think the speakers all talked about shining so brightly. You feel everybody is noticing that you are shining. And I think one of you was telling me, so what? I mean, the sun shines. It's meant to shine, to be brilliant. So why are we afraid of all these things, trying to protect our image, fearing failure? You know, all this preventing you from trying out the new things. Imposter syndrome, another way that we sabotage ourselves without knowing. That persistent inability to believe that you are good enough, that you actually deserve this, that this is legitimate. These are ways that we undermine our potential. What is the root cause of all these things? And we were able even to read from the book early experiences and attachment. You know, if somebody criticized you in childhood, you tend to run away to avoid that kind of exposure. So you shrink. Low self-esteem, that inner critic that keeps on telling you you are not good enough. The cognitive dissonance, and we've talked about all this, that mental discomfort experienced when your actions align with success, and we all talked about that. When everything is working out very well, that's just about when the upper limit crops in. Protective coping, that is self-sabotage, is often misguided safety mechanism. It triggers avoidance or numbing to prevent perceived future pain. And all the speakers have talked about this. So, as the speakers said, the first thing is to be self-aware, acknowledge those patterns, because bringing awareness to your actions, naming them, those self-defeating behaviors, identifying, I was just about to present stima ikapotea. You know, you become conscious. When you are conscious, you now start noticing the patterns. Every time I want to present, I am ready for this presentation, simu imepotea, or simu sijui imeharibika. You know, those kind of things. Now you start identifying that. You know the triggers that initiate them. Then now I like the way even Abhishek brought in, reframe your thoughts. Shift from I can't to I am learning. I can do this. You know, even when you fail forward. Then another thing, visualize your outcomes. See yourself doing better, doing it well. Have a mental rehearsal of it. Release perfectionism. It will not help you anywhere. There's no way you're going to go to your zone of genius and you are holding on to perfectionism. I must be dressed this way. I must be. Done is better than perfect. Then, of course, courage. Stretch the courage muscle. Stretch it. Just expose yourself to those small things that throw you out of your comfort zone. And of course, celebrate the wins anytime you do what you thought you can't do. Celebrate it, track it, and just be positive about it, because this reinforces your ability to do it over and over again. And as we usually say, don't do it alone. Don't go alone. And that's why we have got this support community with us. As in the book club, we are together in it. We are sharing our wins and our failures, our hits and our misses. Don't do it alone. We are here to support you. So those were our speakers this evening. And they all brought us to this place that we are meant to be, and that is our zone of genius. And the only way you can push through the zone of genius is when you push from your comfort zone. Definitely your upper limit is somewhere there. It's invisible. You may not know it. What shows up is the fear, the doubts, the worry, the sickness, the accidents, and all that. But once you recognize that, then now you get the power, you arouse the power within you to move into the zone of genius. Because once you pass through that turbulence of all these things that show up when everything is working out for you, just like they said, joy is the trigger. Everything is working out well, your marriage is doing very well. When it's just doing very well, now you start a conversation. Mnaanza sasa kusomeana. Why? It's a upper limit. You are not used to things being so good in your marriage, and that's why something else comes to bring you back to the thermostat where you belong. So when you start watching that and starting being aware of that, then you are more empowered to push on through that invisible upper limit into your zone of genius. Because in your zone of genius is just, the language is flow. It just flows. You are in love with what you are doing. You're in love in your marriage, with your job, with all that you do. There's no time. There is no oh, I don't have time. No, those are things of the upper limit. So when we talk about the big leap, as we connect to our theme for this year, prosperity, expansion, and exponential growth, that is a big leap, because this is actually your zone of genius, where you are prospering, where there is expansion, you are growing in all directions holistically, 360 degrees, and there's exponential growth. It has to be noticed. You will know it when you are in that zone. So I am here to invite you to ignite possibilities, expand capacity for more love. You know, love dwells in that expansion. You know, as you expand, you are giving out yourself, you're giving more, you are loving more, you are forgiving, you have more abundance, more is coming to you, there's success. That is your zone of genius. That means there's full immersion. You can't be in your zone of genius and you are here and there. It's full immersion. When you decide, I am reading this book, I'm studying this book, it is full immersion. You are sold out, all in. That is the only way to push beyond that invisible lead or that invisible upper limit. So say no to what does not ignite you to be in your zone of genius. Create boundaries. And I think my speakers have said that very well, how they were able to say no to things that don't align with who they are becoming. Have priorities. What is your priority? And you have seen the areas, your mindset, your soul set, your heart set. These are the things that should be a priority, your health set. Those are the things that you should be working on. Yeah. So ignite only what is aligned to who you are becoming. And I think Abhishek talked about this. When you just feel time pressure, that is self-sabotage. And the more you say about it, oh, I don't have time to read, oh, I can't wake up, oh, I can't have time for working out, this year is too packed, I can't do this program, oh, I'm waiting for the day I'll get some money. Coach, you wait, the day I'll get money. No. For you to move to the zone of genius, you do it afraid. And that's the discussion we are going to be having when we have the money blueprint in Kajiado, March 21st, God willing. I hope the rains will be stable, because I can imagine if it's raining a lot, we may not be able to go. But that is the thing. You do it afraid. You move on. You don't wait for everything to align. No, you go beyond. And isn't that faith, what we talk about in the Christian faith? Faith is not when you have it all. Jesus didn't wait for him to have thousands of bread for him to share with the congregation there. Those 3 loaves, those 5 fishes. Not when it was enough. Push on, move on past the upper limit. That's how you move to your zone of genius, where you are the creator of time versus the victim of time. You are moving on to be the time itself. We are no longer saying, oh, time, time, time. You realize, as Abhishek told us, you are the creator of time. So what are we saying? We are saying expansion requires spaciousness. And that's why this is an invitation. Create the space, because you are the space creator. So that brings us to the end of today's, I said we are 2 speakers, so we are finishing a bit early, and it's so good that you have been able to be here consistently through. I'm so excited. I've seen Belinda, you are here. Kagendo, you are here. I have 2 Kagendos now. I have Agnes Kagendo and I have Kagendo Kituto. So welcome. Mary Alambo, I've seen you. And Nancy Muriuki, you brought in Abhishek. Thank you so much for your influence. Monica, you are here. Dr. Jen, you are here. This is amazing. Ashley, you are here. Glory from South Sudan, you are here. Anne Wangi, you are here. Cecilia from Mombasa, you are here. Dr. Rose from Migori, you are here. Rose Mogera, thank you so much for being here. I celebrate you. Isabella, karibu sana. Wanjiku, Pena, and all of us together. So excited. Thank you so much. So tomorrow we start the next book. I'll be sharing more about the next book just this evening. Tomorrow we start the 3rd book for March. So if you are not in the book club, this is your opportunity. Watch the upper limit, what it tells you. Oh, I don't have time this month. Oh, that is just self-sabotage. Just push through. Do it afraid. Talk to me. Let's get you back to the book club. Thank you so much. God bless you and have a good evening. I appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Coach. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.